This is not just a story. This is a reminder that you exist. Asterisk, asterisk, I was sitting in the living room, watching TV, when I heard the click. A sharp, dry click. The kind of sound that doesn't echo. It cuts. The sound disappeared instantly. And for a few seconds, it felt like the entire world had gone silent. Not the peaceful kind of silence. The kind that presses against your ears and makes your chest tighten. Go to your room, old woman, he said. This living room is mine now. There was no argument, no explanation, no warning. Just that sentence, thrown into the air as if I were an old piece of furniture being pushed into a corner. Something in the way one might move a lamp, without asking, without noticing. Behind him, my daughter stood holding shopping bags. Her arms trembled slightly. Her eyes were fixed on the floor. She saw everything. She heard everything, and still, she said nothing. Her silence hurt more than his words. In that moment I realized something painful. Being ignored by a stranger wounds the ego. But being ignored by your own child breaks something much deeper. I stood up slowly. Not out of weakness, but because, in that moment, I needed to feel every single step my body still knew how to take. I grabbed my keys. I walked past the living room, past the television, past the space that had once felt like mine, and the left. The green armchair I had been sitting in was bought with the first money I received after my husband died. Figo, that chair coil, my grief, my exhaustion. My recovery. That was where I rested my tired body, drank my coffee, watched the news, and breathed. That chair was where I still felt like a person, or at least, I thought I did. When the door closed behind me, something inside my chest closed too. But instead of pain, what came was clarity. A cold, sharp clarity. That night, I slept away from home. A small, clean, quiet room. Nothing special, but it was mine for the night. I took a long shower, let the water run longer than necessary. As if I were washing off years of being careful, quiet, and accommodating. I laid down without asking permission. I turned on the TV and set the volume exactly the way I liked it. No one complained. No one told me to leave. No one made me smaller. And there, alone, I cried. Not from sadness, but from an exhaustion that had been building for years, the kind you don't notice until your body finally allows itself to stop holding everything together. The next morning, I made a call I had been postponing for a long time. I called a lawyer I had known for decades. From a time when I still believed respect automatically came with age. I need the law, I said. Because kindness wasn't enough, I explained everything, slowly, clearly, without emotion. The house was mine. It had always been mine. My daughter and her husband had lived there for 4 years without a lease, without rent, without paying bills. And now they believed they had the right to push me out of my own living room. There was a pause on the line. "This is abuse," he said. "Then handle it," I replied. Because I'm done being polite while disappearing. The paperwork was ready that same day. A formal notice. A clear deadline. Everything in writing. The law doesn't shout. It doesn't argue. It simply arrives. While his junior associate headed to my house, I sat in the office lobby, holding a cup of coffee. My hands trembled slightly. My heart was racing, not from fear, but from something I barely recognized anymore. Dignity. My phone rang. It was my daughter. Mom, there's a lawyer here. He's yelling. The neighbors are watching. Then ask him to read the document. I sighed calmly and lower his voice. Yelling doesn't change paperwork. Have you lost your mind? No, I answered. I finally found it. I hung up. After that, I did what needed to be done. I suspended the internet, the cable, the phone line. I froze the supplementary credit card she was using. Everything was in my name. It always had been. I had just forgotten. While trying to save everyone else, I had lunch alone. In silence, I ate slowly. I breathed. That afternoon, my daughter came to see me. She looked exhausted, red eyes. A voice that shook despite her effort to sound strong. "You're destroying our family," she said. I looked at her calmly, a calm that only comes when fear is finally gone. "No," I replied. "I'm stopping the destruction of myself." I explained everything. No yelling, no insults. 30 days. No services restored. No money. No more humiliation. He said that, without the house, the marriage makes no sense, she whispered. That pierced my chest, but not the way it used to. Then it was never love, I said. It was comfort paid for, with my silence. She cried. And for the first time, I didn't apologize. 30 days later, I wasn't home. I didn't want to watch. Some scenes don't deserve an audience. The lawyer handled everything. Keys returned. Doors closed. When I came back, the house was empty. I opened all the windows. The air rushed in like a long-held breath finally released. I washed the floors, moved the furniture, painted the living room a soft, warm color. Not to erase the past, but to remind myself that change was allowed. I made coffee. That evening, my daughter returned. Alone, she knocked like a guest. "May I come in?" "Yes," I said. As a guest, we sat at the table. We talked like two adult women. She had rented a small apartment, started working more. Filed for divorce weeks later. "Thank you for saying no," she said quietly. If you had kept helping, I would never have heard my own voice. I smiled, not out of victory, but relief. Later, I sat again in the green armchair. I picked up the remote and adjusted the volume carefully. Not louder, not softer, exactly the way I liked it. And in that moment, I understood this was never about the television. It never was. It was about existing. About not disappearing inside your own home. About growing older without being pushed into a corner. The house was mine. The silence was mine. And finally, my life was mine too. If this story spoke to you, maybe it's not by accident. Maybe someone has been trying to shrink your space as well. If that's you, write in the comments, "I exist." Your voice matters. Your space matters. And remember, saying no is also an act of self-respect. If stories like this move you, inspire you, or help you see your own life more clearly, subscribe to our channel so you don't miss more stories like this. Thank you for listening until the end. I'll see you in the next story.